Imagine if the real bombshell behind the Democrats' 2024 election disaster wasn't Joe Biden's age, but a reckless gamble that could have been avoided, straight from Kamala Harris herself. Hey everyone, welcome back to Lebo News, where we dive deep into the stories shaping our world. Today, we're unpacking a stunning revelation from Kamala Harris's upcoming book, 107 Days. In an excerpt published in The Atlantic, the former vice president doesn't hold back. She calls it recklessness for Democrats to let President Joe Biden decide on his own whether to run for re-election last year. But here's the twist. She still fiercely defends his abilities, insisting he was never incapacitated, just tired. This is Harris's first public critique of Biden's ill-fated choice, which ended with him dropping out after that infamous debate debacle, paving the way for her to lead the ticket and ultimately lose to Donald Trump. Let's break this down step by step, because this isn't just juicy political gossip. It's a window into the high-stakes decisions that can make or break a presidency, a party, and even a nation. Why did Harris choose now to speak out? And what does it reveal about the inner workings of the Biden administration? We'll explore the reasons, the ramifications, and why this matters for America's future, all while staying neutral and letting the facts speak for themselves. First off, rewind to 2024. Biden, at 81, was facing swirling questions about his fitness for another grueling term. Harris writes that she and others deferred the decision to him and First Lady Jill Biden. In retrospect, she says, was it grace or was it recklessness? I think it was recklessness. The stakes, she argues, were simply too high to leave it to one person's ego or ambition. This wasn't just a personal call. It was about the country's future. Think about it. In a polarized America, where elections hang on razor-thin margins, handing over such a monumental choice without more collective input could be seen as a risky bet. On one hand, respecting Biden's autonomy showed loyalty and faith in his judgment, values deeply ingrained in American political culture. But on the other, with democracy itself feeling fragile post-January 6th, was it wise to risk it all on one man's self-assessment? Harris doesn't stop there. She defends Biden's core capabilities with passion. On his worst day, she writes, he was more deeply knowledgeable, more capable of exercising judgment, and far more compassionate than Donald Trump on his best. She attributes his stumbles, especially that disastrous debate, to sheer exhaustion from back-to-back Europe trips and a West Coast fundraiser. Not incapacity, just age catching up in moments of fatigue. This is crucial. Harris emphasizes that if she truly believed he was unfit, she'd have spoken up out of loyalty to the nation. It's a defense rooted in integrity, reminding us that leadership isn't about perfection. It's about substance over spectacle. In a culture that prizes resilience and second chances, like the American dream itself, this paints Biden as a dedicated public servant who simply hit a wall, not someone fundamentally broken. But why the criticism now? Timing is everything. Harris's book drops on September 23rd, titled after her whirlwind 107-day campaign. Coming months after the election loss, it feels like a cathartic reflection, perhaps aimed at reshaping her legacy or signaling lessons for Democrats moving forward. By calling out the recklessness, she's highlighting a systemic flaw. Parties can't afford to personalize decisions that affect millions. In American politics, where individualism is celebrated, from rugged pioneers to self-made tycoons, this critique challenges that ethos. Was it ego that kept Biden in the race too long? Or was it a genuine belief in his mission? Harris leaves room for debate, but her words underscore why diverse voices in decision-making are vital, especially in an era of gerontocracy questions on both sides of the aisle. Diving deeper, Harris pulls no punches on Biden's inner circle. She accuses them of fueling negative narratives about her to prop up the president. As the first female VP of color, she faced intense scrutiny, stories about office disarray and high turnover. But, she claims, when those were unfair, Biden's team let them slide, even added fuel. Why? Fear she'd upstage him, especially amid age concerns. Take her Selma speech last March, calling for a Gaza ceasefire and more aid. It went viral, but the West Wing was displeased. Harris argues they saw her success as a threat, not a boon. Ironically, she points out, her strength would reassure Americans that Biden had a solid backup, validating his judgment. This raises profound questions about power dynamics in Washington. In a culture that values meritocracy and teamwork, like a championship sports team, why undermine your own player? Harris suggests it diminished Biden too, as her wins could have eased age worries. It's a classic American tale of ambition, clashing with collaboration, echoing boardroom battles or Hollywood rivalries. But from a neutral lens, was this deliberate sabotage or just human insecurity? Biden's office hasn't commented, leaving us to ponder if this was miscommunication or something more calculated. So why does all this matter today, in 2025? Harris's revelations could spark soul-searching within the Democratic Party. After a bruising loss, they're rebuilding. Should future nomination processes involve more checks and balances? It also fuels broader conversations about age in leadership. With Trump at 79 during his win, both parties face this mirror. Harris's book isn't just a memoir. It's a blueprint for avoiding past pitfalls, emphasizing collective wisdom over individual will. In the end, this story isn't about blame. It's about growth. Harris balances critique with respect, showing that even in defeat, reflection can lead to stronger democracy. What do you think? Was it recklessness or necessary deference? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. If you found this deep dive eye-opening, hit that like button, subscribe for more unbiased breakdowns, and turn on notifications so you never miss a beat. Thanks for watching Lebo News. Stay informed, stay engaged. See you next time.